Welcome back. You're watching To The Point. For Congress, the Delhi election results are the realization of the party's worst nightmare. It didn't win a single seat, whilst its vote share collapsed to just 10%. So if it's not to be written out of the picture altogether, what steps does the Congress need to take to recover? My guests are the political editor of The Hindu, Verghese George, the political editor of the Hindustan Times, Vinod Sharma, and Congress spokesperson, C.R. Kesavan. Verghese George, let me start with a simple, blunt question. The worst possible result is what Congress has ended up with. What now is the first key step it needs to take to recover?
I think the party, particularly its leadership, will have to show that the leadership is in command, and the extreme demoralization that has crept into the party's cadre will have to be rectified. There has to be some immediate measures that the leadership will have to take to mobilize its cadre and tell them that we have to hold ourselves together and wait for another battle. And that leadership will have to be Rahul Gandhi and nobody else. Unless he is visible, I think the party's morale will dip further, and this is the time, and this is the right time for Mr. Rahul Gandhi to step out and tell the cadre particularly that I am in command and we are not going to give up all that easily.
Vinod Sharma, you've just heard Verghese George suggest that in fact whether Congress can recover from this low point depends upon Rahul Gandhi. This is Rahul Gandhi's moment to step out and take full charge and show he has it in him. The problem is, most people in the country are convinced Rahul doesn't have it in him. Can Rahul at this moment of urgent need transform and become the leader the party wants, or is that close to impossible?
Well, there's a middle ground available, Karan. Can I say that as of now the Congress looks like a Robinson Crusoe marooned without a Man Friday. Now whether they have to discover a Man Friday or they have to reinvent Robinson Crusoe, I do not know. But may I say that certain non-negotiables have to be negotiated creatively and by involving the entire party rank and cadre, that whether these non-negotiables are sustainable anymore, and that includes the leadership of Rahul Gandhi. Assuming that it is non-negotiable and it cannot be changed, then I think then the middle ground could be that Robinson Crusoe puts together a team of Man Fridays across India to carry his message and take and be behind the scenes for a while and give them the talking points, the policy, and how to go about it. But largely it will depend on their success or failure will depend on how Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party performs. Because as I see Aam Aadmi Party today, it is a latter-day Congress with credibility.
Vinod, let's not go down how Aam Aadmi performs because we're slightly short of time at the moment. Let me put the two key points both you and Verghese George have made to Mr. Kesavan, the Congress spokesperson. Verghese George believes your party's recovery from this low point depends critically on Rahul Gandhi. And you've heard Vinod Sharma suggest that perhaps you need to negotiate the sort of role Rahul plays within the party in a way in which you work to Rahul's strengths rather than emphasize his weaknesses. Is there a willingness in Congress to actually bite these bullets?
First thing, Karan, I mean, definitely this has been a decisive defeat, but we are not devastated and definitely we are not disappointed.
You're not disappointed?
One thing I want to make before I address
Hang on a second. Did you say you're not disappointed?
Discouraged, I said we're not discouraged. We're disappointed, but we're not discouraged. And let me say why. See, first thing is we have to analyze these, let's be fair, a little impartial. We shouldn't be one-sided in the way we freeze-frame the last 8 months. If you see, the last 8 months, the Lok Sabha election, a huge spectre of anti-incumbency. 10 years we had provided governance. After that, there was, massive incumbency we lost. Then you see the elections after that. Maharashtra, the Congress party had a 3-time incumbency. Delhi, 15 years, 3-time incumbency. Jammu and Kashmir, 12 years, again two terms of anti-incumbency. Same thing with, Jharkhand. So what I'm trying to say here is, it's important to understand you can't brush away the leadership. We have full faith in our leadership. See what the Congress leadership delivered from 2004 to 2014. We won 21 assembly elections under the leadership of Srimati Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. We won 2 Lok Sabha elections. I think we do understand that No, let me just make one point. See,
Quickly.
There is already the process of looking within, reflection, introspection has already started. It's very important, like it was discussed, we have to rejuvenate, re-energize the cadre.
Okay.
Also, we have to reconnect back with the people and regain their trust and confidence.
Let me put your answer to the two gentlemen to see whether you give them the assurance that you're actually on the right track. What you're hearing essentially, Varghese George, from Mr. Kesavan, is that if you look at this in the perspective and the context of Congress's terrific victories over the last 20 years, right, then this may be discouraging, but it's not devastating. And therefore, let's not jump to hasty conclusions. We don't have to wish away our leadership. We don't have to make dramatic changes. Does that give you the feeling that Congress is actually grappling with perhaps the most serious problem it's ever faced? Or do you get the feeling this is a party that simply is unwilling to face up to the extent of problem it faces? Which of the two is your feeling?
I think Congress party is either unwilling or unable to understand and comprehend the scale of the crisis that the party is currently facing. So they usually give this argument to us and console themselves with the fact that there have been setbacks in the past also, and the Congress has bounced back after even worse defeats. That could be good as an argument, but if you take the last 50 years of Congress history as one composite, I will have to summarize it in one sentence. If I were to do that, I would have to say it is a consistent decline of the Congress party. That consistent decline, despite of the fact that occasionally it is bounced back, actually means that this is reached a stage where there is a serious crisis. There is a crisis of leadership and there is a crisis of a narrative. Now, since we are discussing it in the context of Delhi election, I would recall a statement that Rahul Gandhi made in November 2013. He said, I would learn some lessons from Arvind Kejriwal. After more than 1 year, I have not seen those lessons being learned or taken on board by in any which way by the Congress party.
Vinod Sharma, you made that very critically important point that there's a need for the Congress to internally negotiate the sort of role Rahul plays. You heard the response from Mr. Kesavan, which seemed to suggest that in fact, if you look at the defeat they've suffered in Delhi in the context of the performance of the Congress over the last 2 years, this is not devastating. Do you get the impression from Mr. Kesavan that Congress is prepared even to do the sort of internal negotiation you talked about? Or do you get the feeling Congress is burying its head in the sand and hoping that by the time it takes its head out, the problem will have disappeared?
Mr. Kesavan got me wrong. I did not suggest that you brush aside your leadership. I was only suggesting that you brush up your leadership, bring it in step with the new India. And may I tell you that you were saying that reference to Kejriwal is anachronistic here. It isn't, because Kejriwal, if he succeeds, he will succeed as a coalition of ideas, the way the Congress succeeded for 60 years and more. The Congress should reinvent itself, should sort out its talking points, become again the coalition of ideas, regardless of who is articulating those ideas. Because leadership always doesn't have to be visible.
I'm terribly out of time. I want to put that thought from Vinod Sharma to Mr. Kesavan. Congress needs to reinvent itself. Quickly answer that. Are you prepared to reinvent yourself, or are you simply hoping?
Karan, we are already the process is on, where the Congress President and the Vice President have instructed the district presidents and the block presidents to give their feedback on this election. We'll be having an AICC session soon where we incorporate all this.
Reinvention by committee.
But I just want to make 2 points. The Congress party had 106 million people. 106 million people supported the party in the Lok Sabha elections. We still have the faith and trust. The BJP got 170 million people support.
Yes, but look what happened in Delhi. Your vote share fell from 24% in the Lok Sabha elections to 10%
What
now.
I'm trying to say is this. The Congress party's history,
out of the 70 seats you lost your deposit. Your face of the campaign lost by 50,000.
I told you there was a 15-year-old incumbency coupled with a 10-year-old central incumbency. But let me make one point. The Congress party is aware of the responsibilities and we owe it to the people in the cadre, and we are looking within. But a Congress party cannot have a knee-jerk reaction, or we can't explain our plans in a soundbite.
9 months later, it's not knee-jerk, but I'm glad you believe that you owe it at least to yourself to understand what's gone wrong. I wish you good luck. I wish you a lot of good luck for one simple reason. The country needs an opposition, and at the moment the Congress looks like the only party that could be. But remember, Aam Aadmi could soon replace you even as the national opposition, so the danger signs are flashing. My thanks to all three of my guests for joining me. I'm afraid we've run right out of time, and there we're going to have to leave this particular episode.